Hey everybody, I'm CrazyCat42 and welcome to Trivia Time. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fire Emblem is one of my favourite video game series of all time, easily in my top 5 if I were ever to make one. And so I decided I'm going to make Trivia Time episodes on every single Fire Emblem game. So let's start off with the first game in the series, Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, released for the NES in 1990, and its DS remake, Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, released in 2008. Not sure why they cut out the and the Blade of Light part from the remake's title. I guess they told kids to see it be like Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. That name's too long. Call of Duty, yeah! Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the show. So let's start off by talking about the game's lead character, Marth. Marth is one of like two lords in the entire Fire Emblem series who can never promote, the other one being Sigurd from Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. In the DS remake, Marth has two portraits, one used for the prologue and one used from Chapter 1 onwards. This makes Marth one of the very few playable characters in the entire Fire Emblem series who gets a permanent change to his portrait at some point during his game. Other units in this trait include Ike, Soth, Volk and Micaiah from the Tellius games, the player avatar from the DS remake of Mystery of the Emblem, and Lucina from Fire Emblem Awakening. Next up we have Bontu, who is the only playable Manakete in the series who is male. Additionally, he's the only non-divine Manakete who joins up with Marth and friends. Next up we have Astrum, an enemy unit who can be recruited in Chapter 13. To recruit him, you have to use his lover, Medea. However, despite the fact that they're lovers, Astrum will attack and kill her while he's an enemy. Talk about tough love. Next up we have Horus, one of the new characters introduced in the remake. And if you notice, he's wielding an axe, despite the fact that he's of the general class, which can only wield lances and bows in this particular Fire Emblem game. Next, I'm going to go over archetypes. For those of you who don't know, an archetype refers to established concepts or roles that can be clearly observed and elaborated upon when looking at patterns throughout the Fire Emblem series. Long-running Fire Emblem series often recycles certain concepts and roles of various characters across different games. And considering this is the first game in the series, a lot of the archetypes are introduced in this game, and I'm going to go over those archetypes right now. First up is the Jagan archetype. The Jagan character is a character who joins you early on in the game and is very overpowered at the start, but due to terrible growth rates they become vastly inferior to your other units later on. Next is the Est archetype. The Est character is a character who joins you very late in the game at an extremely low level, so they're very underpowered. However, if you can train them up, they become literal gods on the battlefield. Next up is the Cain and Abel archetype. Cain and Abel are a duo, usually cavaliers, who join early on in the game. The Cains tend to have a higher strength, defense, and luck, while the Abels tend to have higher speed, skill, and HP. Next up is the Ogma archetype. The Ogma is a mercenary who starts out with high balanced stats and also has good stat growth, making them a pretty good unit all around. Next up is the Board and Cord archetype. The Board and Cord are a duo of fighters who join you relatively early on in the game. The Boars tend to excel in HP and strength, while the Cords tend to excel in speed. Also, one of them will excel in skill and luck. It kind of flip-flops which one it is depending on the game. Next is the Narbal. The Narbal is a character who is usually of the Myrmidon class, who appears somewhat early in the game as a recruitable enemy. They usually carry a killing edge or some other high critical hit rate weapon. Next is the Gota archetype, which is a character who joins at the end of the game with very high growth and stats, and they range from competent to insanely powerful. They're basically there for a player with a weak group of characters to stand a chance against the final boss. Next up is the Lena archetype. The Lena is a cleric who joins near the beginning of the game after being rescued by the enemy. They start off with pretty poor magic, but they've got good magic growth to make up for this. Next up is the Maria archetype. The Maria is a low-level healer that joins later than the Lena archetype due to being held hostage by the enemy. They tend to be of noble birth, and they also tend to outshine the Lena archetype if you train them up. Next up is the Pegasus Trio archetype. The Pegasus Trio is a trio of Pegasus Knights who are usually sisters. The oldest tends to be the most mature, while the youngest tends to be the most childish. They also can usually perform the triangle attack together. Next is the Garneth archetype. The Garneth is a dark magic user or bishop who is usually held responsible for the main conflict of the game. However, they tend to be defeated right before the final boss. Next is the Camus archetype. The Camus is a powerful enemy unit who is honourable and kind, and has no ill will towards the main characters. They might even have loved ones or friends in the main character's army. However, due to the loyalty to their nation, they refuse to swap sides and will fight you, even though they know they will most likely perish. Next we have the Mythos archetype. The Mythos is an enemy unit who is very ambitious and will do anything to claim power for themselves. Next up is the Julian archetype. The Julian is a low-level thief who joins early on in the game. They tend to be pretty weak, but they're useful for their ability to pick locks. Next is the George archetype, which is a character who joins early on in the game posing as a simple traveller, but is later to be able to be of nobility, royalty, or some other plot-critical heritage. They also tend to be bards or dancers. Next we have the Merrick archetype, who is a male mage who joins early on and tends to excel in wind magic. They also tend to be the student of a much more powerful mage. Next we have the Minerva archetype, which is an enemy dragon knight who can recruit you to your side. Next we have the Lorenz archetype. The Lorenz is an enemy general who is usually loyal enough to serve his kingdom to the very end, but can be recruited nonetheless. Next we have the Aaron and Samson archetype, where the players are choosing between one of 2 characters to join them, or in the case of Path of Radiance, one of 3 characters to join them. Next we have the Wendell archetype. The Wendell is a powerful magic user, usually a sage, who tends to be the teacher of the Merrick character. They join with good base stats and some pretty good growths. Finally we have the Melodist archetype, who is a side character who offers tactical advice to the main character. Now for one last bit of trivia, this is the only Fire Emblem game in the series where there are no enemy exclusive classes. Even the final boss is a playable class. Well, that's our time for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time on Trivia Time. Hey guys, if you like the video, give it a big old thumbs up. And if you want to see some more Fire Emblem related videos, try clicking on the thumbnails on the screen.